Hello everyone, welcome to Drishti IAS. My name is Saloni Nandkyoliar and in this video let us talk about the left-wing extremism situation in India. So speaking at the Police Commemoration Day program, our Defence Minister Mr. Rajnath Singh highlighted that the areas that were once designated as red corridors, they are now transforming into growth corridors. And the areas that were once known as our Naxalite hubs are also transforming into education hubs. Education hubs or growth hubs, which means that left-wing extremism in India is declining sharply. The areas, the districts that were earlier affected by this extremism are now seeing a sharp decline. And if we look at the data here, so in 2013, there were roughly 182 districts that were affected by the extremism. And now in 2025, April 2025, it was reduced to 18 and now it is only 11. There are only 11 districts in the country right now which are affected by left-wing extremism or the Naxalite Maoist insurgency, LWE or Naxalite Maoist insurgency. So LWE in India is seeing a decline. Areas that were earlier affected are now seeing a decline. Earlier we used to have a lot of districts and states that were affected, and now these states and districts number has significantly reduced. So let's talk about left-wing extremism and what are these red corridors. Red corridors. Why red? Because red is associated with communism and Maoism. Now, left-wing extremism basically can be traced to 1967. So it all started at a village that was named Naxal. This is a village in the Darjeeling district of West Bengal, and in 1967 it saw an uprising, a peasant uprising against the oppressive activities of the landlords, the rich landlords over there. But then due to an open firing by the police, the protest they turned violent. So this Naxal Bari uprising gave rise to Naxalism, because it spread to other parts of the country also, and then all these parts they came together. The ideology basically it bridged all them together, and then this gave rise to Naxalism. So Naxalism is derived from the Naxal Bari uprising, and Naxalism, Maoist insurgency, is our left-wing extremism. So Maoist is basically a specific, or Maoism is a specific form of communism. So what does communism believe in? Communism wants to establish a classless society. It wants all the resources, all the property to be redistributed, and everybody should have equal access to all the resources. So right now they basically feel that the government, it favors the rich and it hinders the development of the poor. And communism basically believes in creating a classless society. And this Maoism is a specific form of communism which believes that all these protests should start at a village level, at the rural workers level, at the peasants level. So the heart of this movement will be at the rural areas, the rural workers slash peasants. So Maoism A wants all these things to start at villages, and then gradually it can be scaled up to the cities and then finally to the countries. And B, the most important thing here is that this has to be violent in nature. So this will be an armed rebellion. So these peasants, they wish to overthrow the government, the elected government, the officials over there, create a security vacuum, and then establish something which is known as a guerrilla controlled zone. So Maoists are also fighting against inequality. They also want to create a classless society. All this is fine. But the problem arises when all these things, they turn violent, they turn aggressive. So that is why the government is against this ideology, because it is violent in nature. And they wish creating a guerrilla control zone. So these guerrilla control zones are basically areas where they have already overthrown the government, overthrown the local administration by the assassination of police that they carry out, and local officials also. So vacuum is created at the local level, and then they take over the administration of that area. They even start participating in the judicial activities, that like they run their own jan adalats, or they even start collecting taxes to generate revenue out of these things. So these are all guerrilla controlled zones. So this is what the Naxalites or the Maoists they want to achieve. And for this, they carry out violent assassination of our police officials, our local officials, and all these things happen. So that is why the government is also against this entire ideology. So now the government, as per the data of the government, it has been said, it has been highlighted that left-wing extremism in India is seeing a significant decline because of the activities of the government. Activities like, first and foremost, the security activities, and then the development activities. Because we are talking about the tribal population here, the rural population here, they are devoid of resources. And the idea here is that they want to fight inequality. They want a proper redistribution of the land and property to happen so that everybody can have equal access to these shared resources. So the problem here is of inequality. The problem here is of underdevelopment. So the government, A, will have to take care of the security of the region, and B, will also have to work on the development of the region. Because why are youth attracted to these violent protests? Because they are promised opportunities, they are promised growth, they are promised money, something which is lacking right now in the entire region. So government will also need to come up with development activities. And the things that the government is already doing, the initiatives that it is taking. Firstly, there's a Samadhan doctrine that came in 2017, and this doctrine focuses on smart leadership, aggressive strategy, motivation and training, actionable intelligence, dashboard-based KPIs, where we're going to see the key performance indicators, what is performing good, what is not performing good, what needs to be changed, harnessing technology, action plan for each theater, and no access to financing. So the finance channels also need to be curbed, because how are these people buying these arms and ammunition? Through money. So the financing also needs to be curbed. Then there's a special central assistance in public infrastructure and services, because police and public order, these are what? These are state subjects. So the state is also doing its bit, and the center is also doing its bit. So center has the special central assistance. Then there was Operation Green Hunt of 2009, where the government wanted to reclaim these Maoist affected areas, these guerrilla control zone, and it was very much successful in doing that also. So we had Operation Green Hunt, and very recently we also had one more thing, which was Operation Black Forest, especially in the areas of Chhattisgarh and Telangana. So on the border, on the hilly borders of Chhattisgarh and Telangana, we had Operation Black Forest again to reclaim these guerrilla control zone. And earlier there was so many states that were affected, so many districts that were affected by LWE, and now that number has significantly come down because of all these activities. Then we have security activities, like we have Greyhounds, which are our elite commando force in Andhra Pradesh. We also have Cobra. We also have CRPF battalions. Then we also have Bastaria battalion, which is local recruits in Chhattisgarh who know the language and the terrain, and then they could generate intelligence operations. So we are also taking care of what? Community participation. Community participation, because development is also going to happen if the community, if the local people are invited in the administration of that area. Their inputs are also taken, their efforts are also acknowledged. So community participation, community action plan also needs to be there. And all these things have basically led the government to curb LWE. And the vision that the government has is to completely end it by March 2026. So the government plans on eliminating left-wing extremism from India by March 2026. These 11 districts now which face this issue, they also need to be completely, the LWE also needs to be completely washed away from those districts. And some other programs have also helped the government, like the Aspirational District Program, where 35 districts in this program these 35 districts, there were some 35 districts which were some LWE affected districts. So aspiration district program has also helped. A lot of things basically have helped the government here. Security measures have helped the government, and the developmental measures have helped the government, and this has helped us curb LWE in India. So let us hope that all these things can finally be taken care of, and the vision that the government has to eliminate LWE by March 2026 is successfully achieved, and the underdeveloped regions, the tribal population, the rural population that is suffering at the moment, they get appropriate development, they get appropriate education and growth opportunities. So that was all for today's video. Now let us attempt a question for prelims. With reference to the Naxalite Maoist insurgency in India, consider the following statements. 1. Guerrilla controlled zones are the areas where insurgents establish parallel systems of administration and justice. 2. The strategy of encircling the cities from the countryside is derived from Maoist revolutionary theory. And 3. The influence of Naxalism has been increasing steadily across India since 2010. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? 2 only, 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, or 1, 2 and 3. Please attempt this question and provide your answers in the comment section. We will meet in a new video. Thank you for watching.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.